shows the completion of a demolition assignment by the paratroopers of the Airborne Engineers. This bridge was destroyed for the testing of the new parachutist demolition kit, especially prepared by the Engineer Board. To carry out this assignment successfully, each man must be familiar with the demolition equipment set number 5, individual. This set consists of 2 canvas bags so constructed that each will carry up to 22 pounds of explosive tetratol, 20 pounds of plastic explosive, composition C2, or 12 pounds of TNT. In addition to the explosives, each canvas bag contains the following: a box of 6 non-electric blasting caps, a waterproof package of 5 fuse lighters, "15 feet of safety fuse, a roll of friction tape, a combination fuse cutter and cap crimper, one each of the pressure and pull-type firing devices, and a compact 50-foot roll of primacord. This electrical demolition kit, set number 1, for use when electric firing is desired, can be carried in the demolition bag. It occupies approximately 1/2 of the bag. Included in the kit are the following: a 10-cap blasting machine, a galvanometer, 2 250-foot reels of number 20 copper wire, and 9 electric blasting caps. Frequently, the paratrooper will prepare his demolition pack for a particular job. Here's a soldier who knows beforehand that his work will require the full 22 pounds of demolition blocks, tetratol, chain M1, that his demolition bag will carry. Using care to fit them correctly, he has placed the blocks into the bag. To use one demolition bag as a complete charge, it may be handled in this way. A bag with the required demolition charge in it is securely placed against the object to be demolished. In this case, a piece of light rope is used to lash the charge in place. The detonator assembly used for this mission consists of a blasting cap crimped to the fuse. To be sure there is no misfire, it is necessary that the cap be held in close contact with the primacord. The cap is taped securely to the primacord lead from the pack by tightly winding the tape around both the cap and the primacord. When the taping is completed, the union of the cap and the primacord is carefully checked. To ensure burning, the parachutist cuts a short length from the fuse and attaches a fuse lighter. Pulling the lighter, he leaves, assured that his charge will do its job. Using care to fit them correctly, another paratrooper places the demolition blocks into the canvas bag. to provide detonation for this demolition pack, the primacord lead from one end of the chain of blocks is tied to a lead of the required length from the primacord roll with a square knot. Then, to further ensure detonation, he connects the lead from the other end of the chain of blocks to the second length of primacord. And the primacord is tucked into the bag. With the explosive in place and with the primacord leads readily accessible, the flap of the bag is strapped tight. This paratrooper is to use his demolition pack as one of a group of charges to accomplish a demolition task. The kit can be worn in several positions by the parachutist. It can be tied onto the harness in front and back with the cloth tabs that are sewed on the bag. This keeps the kit out of the way of the emergency chute. Or with the kit suspended from the shoulder by the main carrying straps and holding it firmly in place by tying the cloth tabs around the leg. Or with the kit on the front of the upper leg, suspended from the V-ring. This method is preferred by 3/4 of the parachutists. Once the parachutist is on the ground, he may buckle the kits together and wear one in front and one in back. Or with the kits merely slung across the shoulder. The men, now familiar with their explosives equipment and having complete confidence in it, are ready to turn their attention to the study and rehearsal of the demolition problem which lies ahead. Here they study a model of the bridge they are to destroy. The officer points out to each man exactly where he is to place his charge. Next, the men move to a hastily constructed mock-up of the important members of the bridge. For this demolition job, the important members are the lower cord and the top cord. A dummy plane is used to practice jump timing. Here, the men learn to climb the bridge column swiftly and surely. These men must be quick and sure-footed. The correct method of tying charges both on the lower cord and the upper cord is repeatedly practiced with dummy charges. At the same time, another squad of demolition men practice placing charges against the base of a tree, which simulates the pier of the bridge. Before the actual demolition, the officer rehearses his men on a similar bridge. He points out to each man exactly where to place his charges. Practice on the bridge continues until a state of perfection is attained and each man can tie his charge onto the girders perfectly and in record time. Double leads of primacord from each charge are tied into the primacord ring main with the girth hitch. The men then study an aerial photograph of the actual problem at hand. The jump areas and the position of the security men are discussed. Finally, the day of the actual demolition is at hand. Through detailed and accurate preparation, each man is confident that he will perform his task expertly and completely. The parachutist demolition kit is quickly put on and secured in place. A last-minute conference between the jump masters and the pilots ensure the officer that the flight approach, the jump areas, and timing are clear in everyone's mind. All equipment is checked and rechecked, and the men are ready to go. The plan of attack calls for 2 sections of men, 1 section in each plane. Each section is divided into 2 squads, 1 security squad and 1 demolition squad. In the event of casualties in the demolition squad, trained replacements from the security squad will complete the demolition. This section will perform the demolition of the bridge and form the security on the east side of the river. While this section will demolish the pier on the west side of the river and form the security on that side. The men get out of their chutes rapidly. The demolition men adjust their equipment and are ready to rendezvous in the woods before proceeding to the objective. A few minutes after landing, the demolition squad arrives at the bridge. Once their work is started, they proceed as in training, quickly and accurately. While the security keep a watchful eye. The ring main of primacord is completed and checked. 2 caps and fuses are taped to the ring main to assure detonation of all charges. Charges are tied onto the lower cord and tied into the ring main. Each man, having completed his job, leaves the bridge and goes quickly to cover. Seven minutes after the demolition squad reaches the bridge, the fuses are lighted, and 2 minutes later the bridge will be useless to the enemy. The men returning to the bridge site can tell at a glance that they have accomplished their mission. 80 pounds of tetratol explosive was enough to twist every member of the bridge and assure our men that it had been rendered completely useless to the enemy. The piers in this case were saved for other experiments in the placing of charges. This is one type of a task that airborne engineers are able to do with their training, planning, and equipment. The demolition equipment you have seen combines a minimum of weight and volume with a maximum of destructive ability.